Okay, I'm going to do my best because it's Friday. But folks, I've been sick. I'm getting better. I'm hanging in there, but I'm getting sick. Which, by the way, puts a huge crimp in my plan to get this thing running. I'm really mad at myself actually for giving myself an artificial deadline for the car because I'm so deadline driven. Now I'm like, I've got to get it done by that time. It was stupid, and I can't break my brain of the habit. I can't make my brain stop it. So, in any case. Maybe it's just a factor of my being ill.
Yeah, maybe. I got his cold like today, so yeah, I'll try not to sniffle.
It's true. We'll do our best.
Yes.
We'll do our best. But anyway, it's Friday. Do you want a wrist check? Are you wearing a watch?
Yes.
I'm wearing a watch too. Actually, kind of an unusual one for me.
Oh.
Can you guess? You haven't even seen it.
Unusual? Okay.
I actually, I think it's a shitty test because I don't think you'd be able to tell.
Here, my eyes are closed. That is a flat crystal. It has a rotating ring. No extra buttons, so it's not a chronograph. So that means it's a dive watch. It feels like it has little teeth. Can you give me a decade?
So it's very, very late 60s, early 70s. It's related to a famous model, stylistically.
Because the only one I know that came out then was the 6105, but this is too small. I feel so silly. I don't know if you're making faces.
I'm not. I've been praising here. Why don't you just look?
I never would have gotten that.
But you still, I have to say, your process of elimination was excellent. Excellent. So let's do wrist check, and you can see what she discovered. It's wrist check time, and you're going to hear Sebastian up back yelling. Oh, look at that.
I keep wearing it, though I got it dirty. Oh, wait, that was just some clay.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Look at that. You wear that thing all the time.
Uh-huh.
Looks great, doesn't it?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I am... here, why don't we stop and we'll start again. Okay, so here's the mystery. That's right. Poor man's 62 MAS. This is a 7,580... oh, my brain just fried. Of course, Sebastian's yelling and screaming. That doesn't help. 7,580.52. The poor man's 62 MAS. It's pretty cool. This is one of those ones where somebody put their social security number on the back, which is something guys used to do. So I always like to not show that. But anyway, there it is. Pretty cool watch. Cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed that wrist check just as much as I will when we make it. So I'll do my best, folks. If I have to clock out early, I'll do so. But
don't clock out.
Punch out. Okay. Pull the ripcord.
Okay. Apparently Ryan Walters said, time to make the chimichangas.
It's true. And I put that in there because I always like people to hear from Ryan Walters. I think his viewpoint on things is important. Also, I don't think I've had an actual chimichanga since the 80s. Do people even make them?
Probably.
Aren't they deep fried or something?
Yeah.
They used to be, they were a deal, I'll tell you, in the 70s, they were a deal. And I remember there was a place here in town called Chimichangas.
Really?
Indeed. Long gone.
Really? I had no idea because I've never seen it. Where was it?
If I remember correctly, it was down in the square.
Really?
Yeah, it's like this weird mall that's been a dead mall basically since the day it was made in the 70s. Like literally, it's one of these malls that's been continuously dead, half abandoned for decades and decades and decades. The original cornerstone restaurant in that place was this really weird restaurant called Bananas. And all I remember is I went there and I would have been like Sebastian's age. And I ordered like a chicken breast or anything because like Sebastian, I refused to eat anything weird. And it was like charred. I can still taste it.
That's awful.
Yeah, and we never went back. It had like this weird tropical theme, like jungle theme or something, like fake palm trees. I don't remember. It didn't last very long. So, long story short, do not start your business and put it in the square shopping mall unless
you're Trader Joe's.
Unless you're Trader Joe's.
And I was going to say, I think now people actually go there. There's a brewery in it.
Really?
Yeah, it's been there for a while in a liquor store. And
That's how you know it's quality.
Yes, there's a Packy. And there's a skiing, hiking store, and I think an outdoor furniture store.
I want to interject something. She used a very specific term, packy, but in this particular instance, it's an East Coast Boston term meaning package store. It has nothing to do with ethnicity or nationalism or any of that kind of
God,
stuff.
I didn't even think about it.
I've only said it a couple of times, and people are like, the what? Because you go down to the package store. You have to go down to the package store and get yourself a six-pack. Got to go to the packy because they're not open on Sundays. Hey, I'm going to the packy. Do you need anything? So that's what it is. It has no connection whatsoever to anything else.
It didn't even occur to me.
Yeah, it's an East Coast thing. Got to go to the packy.
The 3 known Vietnam Special Operations Seiko watches.
Oh, we're entering questions.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, we could talk about it generally.
No. Let's go for it.
Crude Eddie. This is amazing to find. My dad just gave me this watch that I grew up watching him have. He got it in Vietnam. Gives me chills to think of the things it had seen. Yeah.
I'm curious to know, which sub-variant is it? What's the condition? Did he tell you any stories about it? Do you have any pictures of him? That's one of the things that's rare. People, it's really, really, there's a ton of photographs of Vietnam, guys in Vietnam, but boy, it's hard to figure out what watches they're wearing. Mm-hmm. You see a lot of watches, but it's really rare that I can get a good shot of one. So, I mean, it's always this piece of important information when somebody comes up. What are you laughing at?
Okay, so I was watching the PBS Vietnam documentary, and I'm busy looking at the watches, and then because he wasn't with me and Sadie watching it, and I'm like pausing and taking pictures, and then she's like, "Mommy, why did you just take a picture of a dead guy?"
What?
Because I was like, "Whoa, a perfect watch shot!" Because his arm wasn't moving, and it was because he was dead.
Really?
Really?
Oh.
I know. I still feel bad.
Oh, that's terrible. What was the watch?
I think it was a standard, regular, old one, like the thing that I have.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Did it have Arabic numerals on the dial?
I don't remember.
Well, look, we all make contributions as we go through life. We would perhaps do honor to this person by figuring out what watch they had and talking about it. I mean, it's relevant to us, right? What are you going to do? I think I was talking about something, wasn't I?
Because of pictures of people, dudes in Vietnam with their watches.
In any case, yes, there's very, very, very little documentary evidence, really, of people of what they wore and when. Like, the only reason the connection was made between the Seiko 7005 8030 model watch and the Mac V SOG is that one person wrote one book called Running Recon, and it had a picture of one in it. And it had that picture, and someone else posted it on the internet that I happened to see, and just by complete stupid dumb luck, I just happened to have one of those watches. And I was like, wait a minute, I think I've got one of those. And I went digging through my crap, and I'm like, what do you know about that? Look, I found another one. Isn't that neat? So, and then I sold it. The first identified one of those, and it came from a watch lot in Maine that had other late 60s Seikos that had gotten worked. They were all worked. I wonder now, when I think about that. But anyway, somewhere it's out there. If you want to, speaking of information, dig up the information, find that serial number. Somebody owns that watch. It's out there.
Okay. Well, hopefully it's out there and not in the trash.
No. A collector bought it. I would hope to heck that it would still be above the grass.
Which watch? Let's pick a project.
Oh yeah, the project I never completed.
You didn't put the person's usernames.
Oh, I didn't. I'm so sorry about that. That was not intentional.
Absolutely gorgeous 6105. I have a 6105 project watch being put together here in Australia by the wonderful Adrian from Vintage Time Australia. I have to email you. I forgot.
Who, the gentleman or Adrian?
Adrian. I don't even know if he watches these. Probably not.
I don't know what Adrian does in his spare time.
I don't know. This, of course,
takes a good picture though.
A project inspired by your own 6105 parts caster everyday watch.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Mine is made up of all original 6105 parts from 2 different watches, and it will be powered by a 6309 movement from a beat-up old Seiko 5 from the 80s.
Even better.
I absolutely can't wait to get it. Lots of love, as always, from Morpeth in SW, Australia.
Someday we're going to get to Australia. It's like one of my... I want to go get to Australia, and also there's another country called New Zealand that apparently is vaguely related to Australia in some way. But I really, really want to go to the Southern Hemisphere at some point. I really, really want to see it. It's one of those things. I'd love to go down there and just spend a month just digging around looking at stuff. Building a Super 6105, that's cool. That's cool stuff. The thing you need to do is you got to get a you got to get a center wheel bridge from a 6106 that's slotted, and then the other thing you got to do is get a 6306 hacking lever. They're findable, but you can't use any other. But if you do that, then boy, you got it. That's the way to be, because then you can hack it. And if you can hack it, then it's kind of military grade. That's what you're supposed to be able to do.
From a mail call from whenever. Mad Watch Time. Hi, Spencer. I've been wanting to ask you for your professional advice.
Professional.
My Seiko 6308 7040 is from 1978 Sua dial. The watch number starts with 8N, which I assume is 1978 November, right?
Yep.
While servicing the watch with help from your channel, thank you, the back of the dial, which looks original, is printed 80, is the 1978, but is the 0 right for November? Got this cheap and just wanted to check if it's original. Your help would be much appreciated. Thanks for all the content every week.
I love watch parts that are stamped and made in October, because it can be O for October, or it can be 0 for the 10th month. So yes, dials typically seem to have been produced. This is my theory. Dials generally are stamped for the month before. Sometimes the same month. Sometimes you get them a couple months before. This is only my theory. I think that they would do, forward planning, and they would say, okay, well, we think we're going to sell blank number of these things. The loom on those things had a sell-by date, and so they had to date them, which means you don't want to put a dial that's 6 months out into a brand new watch. So I think they did forward planning. They said, we're going to need to make, 4,000 of these things. They produced 4,000 dials. Okay, we got our dials. Let's run the line, and let's put it together. So the way it goes on those codes is, the first digit is the year of the decade. So in this case, it's a 70s watch, so it'd be 78. The second digit is going to be 1 through 9, is going to be January through September, obviously. And then you get to October, November, December. So you get 0, N, D.
But sometimes it's an O.
It just depends. I've actually seen both. Usually it's just as... I've seen both. It's really weird. What's really weird is when you get a D in other places where it's not supposed to be a D. I've seen that a couple of times.
Yeah, you've shown me.
I've seen that a couple of times where it's a D instead of a 0.
Okay, an old mail call.
Old mail call.
Salty.
I'm an old mail call. Ugh, I tell you. I don't know about any of you people. Despite a lifetime of experiences, I simply do not enjoy being sick.
Anyway, Salty Crabs. My track record of successfully restoring Seiko quartz watches is way lower than my unsuccessful rate. I've learned that sometimes a circuit board has an inherent fault that is throughout the entirety of the model, and it's not just a corrosion issue. I spent 2 weeks messing with a couple H601 movements because I wanted to see why the stepper motor failures are so common in the movement, but I haven't figured that out yet. Seiko quartz watches don't have the following, like mechanicals and information is scarce, so it's a lot of hypotheses, head scratching, and looking at schematics.
I don't understand electronics at all. I mean, that's not me being... I understand that you have a positive and a negative, and you put those things together with the charge. One will flow to the other. Other than that, I'm completely at sea when it comes to anything that's powered by or uses electricity. I know that you pour electricity in one end and you get out the thing, whatever it is, at the other end, but I don't understand electrics really much at all, like voltages and all that crap. I've owned a really nice Klein, like, electrical tester. I have no idea how it works. I can't figure it out. It makes no sense to me. So I've fixed a few circuits, but mostly by identifying where there's an obvious break. And then I was like, okay, well, that looks like it's dead. And you reconnect it, and every now and then I've gotten lucky, but I don't know. It's most people, I don't think people have studied it, because most people probably don't think it can be done. But I know it can be done. The guy with the digital watch forum, or was it the digital? He's this dude. He lives in like the Europe, Netherlands or something. But he's crazy about LCDs. He's one of the few guys I know who is, to the point that he can rebuild complete circuits. It's been a while since I've checked in on him, but he does exist. The Digital Watch Forum, DWF. And they have a site associated with it that is sort of a database that has pictures of different models. I don't know how comprehensive the information is, but it's the first place I would go to find information that I don't understand and can't use.
Ignacio Moniz Valenti.
That's Nacho Valenti to you.
Oh, hi.
It's Mr. Nacho Valenti. He was complaining. He was like, it changed my display name, and I can't make it change it back.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Hi, Spencer and Sabrina. Thanks for another great video as usual.
Thank you.
I love your Explorer, Spencer. It's really nice. I own a 36mm Explorer since 2017. I love it, but doesn't have the character of the vintage ones. Anyway, in my humble opinion, the Rolex Explorer is one of the best watches ever made, talking about wearability, reliability, and is fine to go to the beach for swimming, etc. As a daily watch is perfect.
It's a nice watch. It's a nice watch. They're a good size. I used to think they were too small. For me, what makes them is that dial. You know, the matte dial with the markers and the 369. I think it's very classy because it's not a straight dress watch, which people would just be like, hooray, it's a dress watch. It's got like more to it visually. I love mine. I wear it all the time. I had to actually force myself to take it off and not wear it because my wife made fun of me.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. He was like, which one should I wear? And
you said you always wear that one.
I said, wow, that was a way to mishear me. I said, wear that one because you've been wearing that one a lot.
Okay, fine. I'll accept it. I was wrong. I just think, I agree. They're great watches.
How to wind a Seiko automatic.
More comments from the first video I ever made. I have no idea why people keep finding this video, why people keep, I don't even, how many comments are on that video? Someday I have to look. It's crazy. I think I've got the most views of anything I've ever done on that video.
Well, it's short and information people would want.
Sitting at the kitchen table, holding a watch. I made it, I don't even know who I made it for. Somebody was like, how do you make this thing? And anybody who complains about that thing,
oh, no, not again,
that you're going to damage the thing or whatever, it's, if you find any Seiko owner's booklet that comes with any of their automatic watches and you look in the back of it, you can find a facsimile online. It shows a diagram, literally what you're supposed to do, and you're not doing it a ton. You do it enough so you get the thing running. You set the time, strap it on, and go about your day.
Well, Gabriel VJ1CF said, Mom thought I was choking the chicken. Mom, I'm just trying to wind my movement.
You can do both.
Anyway.
It's efficiency.
I didn't really plan to restore this HAQ gray quartz.
Have we moved on to the next one?
Yes, I did.
Oh, now we're moving on to the next video.
I don't feel like talking about that.
I'm just pointing it out, basic math. You are combining two activities.
JMR5707. Why bling it out with a bracelet though? It looks so great on the strap. You had it on in the last video. Maybe even better on a plain black grainy leather strap instead of the alligator. Let the snowflake sing by itself. Bracelets would distract from this. I agree.
Yeah, I go back and forth. I think I liked a little more with a little more weight, made it feel a little more substantial. I felt when I had it on something other than steel, it seemed actually like the dial got a little lost. And when I put it on stainless, so that the whole case is stainless, the element that stands out is that slight champagne color and pattern of that champagne dial, of that snowflake dial. I go back and forth. I think I might put it back on a strap because it does look good. It's a really nice looking watch. Unless I can actually find the original bracelet. And that's going to be a tall order.
Mr. BT Cruiser, you are not crazy.
Yes, I am.
It looks like that stamp on the bracelet was from someone's printing by hand. I saw a photo of an XBB-150, same kind of bracelet with a different kind of clasp, with the same kind of stamped lettering, quote-unquote, font.
Yeah, just to backtrack. So I'm looking at this weird... in that video, I was looking at this fairly weird bracelet, and I was looking at the fold, and instead it has the text inside the fold. I don't have one to show you. It's done by machine. It should be super, super precise. And it looks like it was done, not by hand, but it looks like the original modeling that the stamp was made from was done by hand, which I just thought I'd never seen it before. That's super funky. So I didn't think it was fake. It was definitely real. It's just not something I'd seen before. So thank you for that confirmation.
Golden tuna restoration. 527 THR. I have one of these watches that a friend gave to me. I've since replaced the battery, crystal, and crystal gasket. This was back in summer, and I just noticed that it's dead today, about maybe 7 months later. I might be giving it a service soon myself. I've been using your video on servicing a Seiko 4006-7000 Bell-matic, as I'm going through 3 of them at the same time. Your favorite?
Oh, well, you know, the thing is, they should be my favorite. They're fantastic movements. I swear, every time I go through one,
Your brain springs.
I don't understand it, but it's like they should, every single time I go through one and I start running into weird problems, I'm like, this is an aberration. This is an exception. This is not the rule. But it seems like every single, but I don't understand it. It's just you have all these springs and you just have to make sure they're layered and set down correctly. As for the other one, are you sure your battery was a fresh battery on the 7009? Did you notice it doing the 2-step fandango? Did it just sit in the watch box and you're like, oh damn, thing ran out of power? Somebody gave him a golden tuna.
Yeah, I know.
That's something, dude. Somebody gave you a 4-figure watch. That's very nice of them. You should buy them a box of donuts or something. Wish I had a box of donuts. No, I don't want donuts. I want ice cream. That's what I want. Donuts are good, but they don't have that oomph.
They go away too fast.
They do. I'd rather have ice cream.
H5565029 restoration.
This is the next video?
Yes.
Okay, all right. H5566020 restoration, okay?
B Johnson 3525. Nice. Mine needs a new winding stem and or switch lever cover. Everything works but the digital screen setting via the crown. But how on earth do you remove the winding stem from the movement in order to lift it out of the case? That sounds like a segment.
Yeah, I was planning. That sounds like a segment. So I'll put in a segment. I'll show you. Et voila. Observe. H558. Only difference from the H556 in these extensions off the spacer block. It's what this black thing is. It's kind of a fibrous plastic. Those little extensions here to protect the stem. And also it has the spring. The column for the spring is taller. This one looked like it was mashed over. That's no fun. I have to look at that. Yeah, look at that. What happened, man? That's uncool. Okay, I'm going to have to heat that and put that back. I'm not happy about that. Didn't realize that until this second. Okay, so here's how we get our stem release lever out. This diddly right here, this lever is what does it. You push that down and it pushes down. It has a little fulcrum down there and it goes and you push it up. So I'll probably have to, let's turn it like this. Make sure you all can see it. So we come in here. Right here, it's even nice and fit for the blade of a screwdriver. Hopefully this isn't blinding everybody. You just push it down, and if it doesn't work, you say, hey, no. You try it again. It doesn't work. You say, what the hell, man? There you go. Push a little harder, and out she comes. And that's how you do it. That's how you take out an H5. How in the hell did that happen? How in the hell did that happen? Damn, because I don't want to break that. Because what this is this dollar column right there, the H558 uses a longer alarm spring, and it's got to be supported, otherwise it gets pushed over sideways. So that's what that is. I'll have to figure out a way to heat something up. Boy, that's annoying. That's okay. I'll figure it out. Okay, well, that's how you do it. And we're back.
Next video. There, I gave you a forewarning.
Thank you.
All about the bean.
Okay, so people, if you don't care about non-watch related subjects, or specifically are disinterested in talking about British auto manufacturing in the post-war era, you don't need to listen anymore, because we're going to be talking about MGB stuff. I invite you to stay. But I certainly would understand it if you've got other things on your menu that you'd rather deal with.
Okay, Greg Moradian 3711. Beautiful MG.
Thank you.
Love that green with the black color combo. The trunk is solid. You can sand it and give it a coat of POR15. Rust-Oleum makes a shade called forest green, which is very close to the BRG, which you can paint right over the POR15. I converted mine to a metal dash. That sounds painful. Just remember you'll need the top cowl panel from a scrapped Preface 67 as it extends further out and the dash mounts to it. Either way, enjoy. You have a lovely solid car to work with.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Every now and then I'm like, what have I done? You know, it's funny that you mentioned that about Rust-Oleum. Long time ago, when I was still out in San Francisco, I got one of my junk Vespas. I was really into Vespas then. And I came across some Rust-Oleum, and I was just going to rattle can it. Basically, I built the Vespa version of a Super 6105. I just wanted a commuter vehicle I didn't really care about. I had I put a high power engine in it, fully functional. The body had just gotten the hell beaten out of it, and it looked terrible anyway. So I got that stuff. I rattle canned it that green, and I got it specifically because it reminded me of British Racing Green. And I had forgotten until this person's suggestion. As also the POR15, do you use just the stuff, or do you use like the 3-part system? You got to spray on stuff. I read about it after his comment. You have the spray on stuff, and it dissolves the rust, and then you have the next stage, which is some kind of a prep diddly. And then it's a degreaser, then it's a deruster, then you have the final stuff which converts and seals, and then you paint over that.
Okay.
So I have to get some, but I haven't done it.
The Family Funny Farm. I had a 1978 MG, which I rebuilt, but it was a rubber bumper, but still a lot of fun. Good luck with this project. It will be beautiful, I am sure.
There's nothing wrong with a rubber bumper MGB. Nothing whatsoever. Especially, you get to the late ones, like in 1980, they had the last of them. They were coming to the last of the line. And they made a rubber bumper one and had these special stripes on the top and 1980 only mag rims on them. And if you set them up right, they actually look kind of badass. They really do. Well, the thing about that, the MG here, it's a very, very British car. In my estimation, it looks, I see shades of the 50s, 40s and 50s, English racing, the Jaguar D-Type, C-Type, and all this other kind of like post-war, maybe even pre-war, but the B reached into the modern world, and I never really thought about those fronts, but the fact that you can reverse that, you can take those bumpers, you can convert it back to earlier, and it's just a regular old B. A lot of those rubber bumper Bs were not saved because people didn't like the rubber bumpers, which means I believe that comparatively speaking, they're actually rarer now.
How well would the rubber have lasted over?
Yeah, they're not bad. They're not bad. Actually, they're not bad. There was one, oh man, before I bought this thing, it was like 3 or 4 months ago, there was some dude in like Nebraska, and it was like a 79 or an 80B, but it was in really nice. It was in really, really quite decent original condition. Engine was blown. But he wanted $1,000 for it. It was complete, intact, and original. He wanted $1,000 for it. And I was like, holy crap, because the later ones, the early ones like this one, you couldn't, they didn't pre-plan for these things to have a V8 in it, but later on they did. And those later ones, you don't have to do anything to the engine compartment. You can drop a Rover V8 right into it. And that's what that thing could have done. I was like, the engine's already blown. Already blown. There's one of those Buick 302s is what it is, all aluminum V8. There's one in Colorado Springs, I think. Guy wanted like $500 for it. I could have gotten that car, gotten that engine, and had a V8 MG, and I would have absolutely kept the rubber bumpers on it. Paint was great. The top was all screwed up, but it had been garaged for a long time. He wouldn't sell. You had to be there in person with cash. And I'm like, I can send you money by PayPal. I can send you money by Venmo. I can have a driver come and give you anything. He was like, no, you here in person, period, or nothing. And I was like, oh, well. But then if that had happened, honey, I wouldn't have the Greenbeen.
Exactly. Nicholas Miller 7565, congratulations on your latest purchase.
Thank you.
It looks like a very sound platform. The underside is impressively clean. Never seen one cleaner, but then I live in the UK, so anything we see here is usually pretty sloppy underneath. Sadly, I had to let my GT go some years ago without finishing it, so I'm always glad to see restoration projects taken seriously. Your enthusiasm is great to watch, and I'm sure you'll do a first-class job. Positive vibes from the UK, and wishing you great success. Looking forward to the next video.
First class job, well, I hope. The first class job way is not really the Klein way. You do, I can't really explain the Klein way, but it's not quite meticulous like that. Yeah, when I was still living in England, when I was a kid, there was a Jaguar Mark 10 that was sitting in the long grass outside the village. And it sat there the whole time I was there, and it was car shaped, but that was pretty much about it. The rust, it just descended into the dirt. There's nothing you can do. It's funny though, talking about people working on these old MGs and doing stuff. Boy, there's a lot of people working on these. I went to the auto parts store the other day. I had to go get some stuff. I went over to the Advanced Auto Parts, and I'm in there, and I asked the kid who's working at the thing, I was like, hey, do you guys sell small 12-volt batteries or two 6 volts I can put together? And he's like, no, I don't think so. That's something you'd have to go to like a marine store, get like a boat thing. And I said, don't worry about it. It's an MG thing. He's like, oh, well, I've got an MG. I was like, oh yeah, he's fully restored, totally he has some MGB and some other stuff, and started talking to him about it. And you have these young guys are getting into these MGs. I thought it was a dying art form. They're still, the thing is, they're plentiful. They're still cheap enough that you can get one because they have this reputation for being hell on wheels to work on. They're really simple. They're really, really simple. There's just not a lot to them. They're a motorcycle with 4 wheels. I mean, a more complex electrical system, but there's a lot of them out there, a lot of young guys, work on these things, and I just think it's great. Actually, the whole car culture right now, I'm really happy with. Well, looking around on YouTube, looking at all these channels, all these dudes, all these people are like, hey, wait, anybody can do this, and they're all getting fired up, and they're going out into the fields, and they're with their cameras and their tripods, and they're pulling a piece of crap out of the cow field, and and everybody's just jumping in and doing it and making videos, and it's really impressive. I really like seeing people get up and do that and, save these machines and have fun doing it. And, there's always more out over there, the jury's not out. We're still on the right side of the grass. There's still time. Go out and find your MG or whatever the hell it is. Your 1956 Oldsmobile Rocket 88 with quad carburetors. Almost bought that car, didn't.
I don't know anything about cars except how to drive an automatic and how to put gas in it. And I can put windshield wiper fluid in. You could
do damn near anything you wanted to do. It's just not a priority or anything you care about. Don't sell yourself short. I know you could do what you do.
Bruce Barlow 6604. When bleeding the brakes, make sure that the master cylinder is primed first. Don't stroke the master cylinder piston too rigorously or continuously to the end of the bore. This can damage the piston seals. Then bleed the wheel cylinder farthest away from the master cylinder on a LH drive start at RR, then LR, then RF, then LF. Keep an eye on the reservoir so not to run low on brake fluid. This MG series brings back great memories of when I did my automotive apprenticeship in the mid-80s. British cars, not the best gear, but fun to work on. Looking forward to the progress updates.
They're living creatures. I don't know. That's what it feels like to me. Modern cars are great. They'll do anything, and boy, they're plug and play, and it's so nice. These things have a lot of personality built into them. I tell you, though, bleeding brakes makes me really honestly very nervous.
Why?
Dad, whenever he would touch one of his cars, he would always be like basically because he has so much anxiety, he would have so much anxiety. I've never been able to.
It's crazy.
I've never made it through. In my heart of hearts, because of all the things I went through with Dad, I've never taken part in successful brake bleeding. Ever in my life.
He was just being overly cautious or freaking out or something?
It would be the middle of winter, and he would have to, because he didn't have he wouldn't go out and there's a tool, because it's a pain in the ass, all right? Because you got to have three things happening. You've got to induce pressure into the system, because you have to push the fluid through you got 4 tubes, right? 4 tubes, and imagine there's a bucket of brake fluid, right? It's got 4 tubes coming out of it. And the thing is, you can't have any bubbles in any of the fluid, because if you have bubbles, the air compresses. You've got to have unadulterated, clean, pure hydraulic fluid. So what you do is you've got a reservoir, that bucket at the front, and you've got to keep that full. And you're pumping the brakes to move the hydraulic fluid through. And at each corner, you have this thing, you have the bleed valve open with a plastic tube on it that goes into, he used a jam jar. The Chilton guide right there that you gave me says use a jam jar. It literally says it. And so you're supposed to do that until the fluid runs clear and there's no more bubbles. That never happened. And it would be 3 of us. So he'd have, one of us would be pouring brake fluid, another person would be sitting in the car pumping the brake, and Dad would be underneath the back of the thing. It'd be like freezing out because it was just, and I never ever, it's just one of those jobs that is undoable.
I'm sure you could do it.
I have the tool. I have the the one person.
What was he using instead of having the tool?
One person at the front pouring brake fluid, another person sitting.
What's the tool look like?
I'd have to dig it out. I think it's up over there. In fact, I can see it. It's right over there. I'll go get it. Why not? Oh, my butt. Been a long time coming. So here is your handy dandy home brake diddly thing.
So, okay.
Automotive test and brake bleed kit. So you've got your reservoir.
Your jam jar?
Yes, it literally says jam jar. I'm not joking. Here, can you actually get the book? She bought this for me for my birthday, what, how long ago? Or was it Christmas?
Christmas, a while
Did I get water on it? Chilton MG. Ooh, you should show them the color separations. It's got color overlay separations for the engine. It's really cool. Okay, you got your rubber tubing.
Here, I can't.
Oh, here, why don't you hold this? Okay, so you got this. There's your electrical system. And then you can go like that. And you can see your fuel system in that overlay. You go up here, and it's got your cooling and lubrication system. And you go up here, and it's got your 4-stroke cycle. Very neat. But yeah, I
found that on Etsy.
You did? Yep. By the way, I really like these early MGA style rims with the little moon caps on them. If somebody knows where I can get some of those. Don't you think those look cool?
I guess.
Ooh, and with white walls. Wouldn't she look great with white walls?
Okay, lightning.
Oh, yeah. Lightning is ready. I'm ready for some white walls. Oh, anyway, yeah, I forgot about this thing. So what do we got? You got your jam jar. Okay. You got your tubes. You have, it looks like, ooh, look, it's got a pressure thing.
Okay, so who is of these tools?
This is the kid in the car pushing the brake pedal.
Okay.
This is the kid underneath the hood, the bonnet, filling the thing with brake fluid. And this, well, there's another thing in here. I guess, no, this is the brake. This is the kid doing the brakes and the father underneath the back dealing with the bleed nipples. So I think this makes it as, I'm going to have to figure it out. Look,
I'm sure someone will tell you.
I'm sure they will. I mean, there's so much stuff on this car that I'm just terrified about doing because Dad would be like, it's disaster waiting to happen. Like I have to take the hubs off. I have 4 basically brand new hubs on this thing, and the ones that are on here are turbo screwed. They are in really bad shape. So I've got to swap them out, but it's like, I've never done it. Dad used to say, oh, you got to tighten it down and then you have to back it off a hair and then you put the thing through. And I'm like, that's not precise. But then I read about the thing and you're supposed to use shims to take up the extra, but I don't know. It's just, Dad would just start, he wouldn't panic, but boy, he would just radiate anxiety. We were doing any of this stuff. So we would all leave, so I never learned.
Leo Crespi, if I didn't know what you were able to do with watches, I would struggle to believe it from this funky approach to mechanics. I love this series.
Yeah. Well, the thing is I was thinking about that after I read that question. I'm like, what is it that I do that's special?
I don't even know. Well, what's funky mean? Like, is it...
It's disorganized. I don't know where anything is.
You don't do things in a specific... I don't know if there's a specific order.
There should be. There should be a specific order. I mean, I was talking to Sebastian about that. I had to get the gas tank out because it was full of shellac. Gas tank is out. Okay, it's the great perfect time. All that's out. It's time for me to clean out that rust from underneath there. I should do all the brake connections underneath there, get that all done and all that other kind of stuff. That's what a normal person would do. But I have the gas tank out and the wheels off, and I've started thinking about the electrics. I think the thing is that I have a lot of innate skill, but I'm not terribly organized. But if I'm focused and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, I can generate very good work. As long as I know what I'm doing. This is kind of in the unknown. And so I make the job bigger than it actually probably is, simply because I've never done it before. I do it once and it should be good. I'm trying to rebuild the fuel pump on this thing right now. Man, there isn't a single good video. There's tons of videos, but there's not one that shows me exactly the thing I want to do. I need it to be like, I need a watchmaker's video for one of those things where you can take the thing and it's blown up this big. I'm like squinting at the screen. It's a hard thing to show, though. I'll figure it out.
Okay, now we're leaving Carland.
What?
Friday Night Wakazashi. It's the last one.
Oh.
From Jimmy Mac 1079. Very nice piece, Spencer. We are kindred spirits, Seiko and Nihonto. Any papers with this? Very hard to tell who the smith or school is without a signed Nakago. I have a very nice late 1500s walk, and stop making me pronounce things wrong.
I'm not making you pronounce anything.
I don't know how to pronounce anything. Papers, one small blister on the blade, but otherwise nice condition. Unfortunately, the Suka Ito is really damaged. I plan on having it wrapped professionally one day. I've done modern blades myself, but wouldn't try on this.
Yeah, that Silkito, the very, very, very first one I ever got was a really jacked up... really jacked up World War II blade, and the wrap and everything was garbage. And I went and ordered. I got all excited about it, and I ordered all the new Ito, and I was going to fit this original handle because the way those handles worked is they were made custom for the blade.
Was that when you had the shark? And Milo chewed it.
Yeah, the ray skin. I had a sheet of ray skin, and Milo ate it. But I was taking that Ito off, right? It's really cool stuff because it's ribbon, and what they do is they make an X, they cross over each other, but the way they do it is they both flip over like this, but to preserve that beautiful curve as the middle of they flip over, inside there were these tiny little triangles of folded paper, like teeny tiny little like football. So you go, make paper football, tiny ones, and they had been cut out of like a newspaper, like a Japanese newspaper. I have no idea how old they were. And I tried to replicate it. Total failure. I do have a number
I'm sure you just tried it like 3 times.
there's a technique. There must be fine techniques that I didn't understand because I couldn't get it to sit down, and it looked lumpy and weird and wrong, and I couldn't figure it out. I have a few signed blades. I have one blade that is unsigned, but thankfully on the resting sheath, it has all of the information of the blade, and it's one of those things. Every time I think about that blade, I'm like, probably I shouldn't own that blade because it's so incredibly beautiful. Right? Kunimitsu.
Yeah, but oh wait, is he our samurai ghost?
I don't know. Possibly. I mean, whoever owned that thing in 1600. In any case, the blade was made by this guy named Rei Kunimitsu, who is one of the more well-known names in Japanese sword making, and it's a pretty cool piece. I also have, maybe I'll show this. I have another one, which is a teeny tiny one, a tanto, little teeny dagger-like one, suitable for ladies. But it's beautiful, and beautiful custom-made race skin and copper. I'll see if I can dig it out. Whew, I'm tired. Was there anything else? Do you think that's it?
That's it.
Okay. How do I stop? How do I get the March 9th deadline out of my head? It's driving me crazy. How do I stop doing that?
It's not like...
There's no reason for it.
No, I mean, yeah, she'll get her license and she'll have her car, and then we'll go back to having one car, which we did for years because we don't really go anywhere until we finish that. I mean, don't take forever, but you don't have to have it done in 9 days.
I just didn't want to have two MGs in pieces where neither of them is getting done.
But you don't want to power speed run it because then you might mess up, and like you just said, you don't fully know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm learning. It's just, I think maybe I should change the criteria. It should be ready by the time that, basically, it should be, it should be, I don't know, it's nuts. I've got to find a way to, it's really bugging me that I'm up against this deadline because I'm so deadline driven, but it's completely imaginary. There's no reason for me to have it. No one cares. So I have to get it out of my head, but it's made me kind of about the MG.
Well, you have to just do a little bit of whatever, and we're going to put the TV on the stand, and you can fiddle with your stuff, and I can paint my frog, and we can watch TV.
Clone Wars. Okay, well folks, this was an even more scattered video than we normally make, and I apologize for that, but I thank you for continuing to watch, and that's, I think, pretty cool. Look at that. You can build pressure in the thing.
Wow.
See? Look at that. Mm-hmm. So you get up to however many back and then neat. So if anybody's ever used one of these before, can you please explain it to me? Sometimes I think I'm just getting harder. I'm more hard of understanding than I used to be.
Or maybe you would, because you were younger, you would just say screw it and
do it
and take risks, and now you're older and wiser and know that does not.
I don't think I'm any wiser. You know how I might be wiser? I think I'm wiser in the sense that I have a better understanding of how little I know.
That's an important thing for people to realize.
It's a form of wisdom. Mm-hmm. It's a form of wisdom. I know not to do certain things, but don't want to get them lumped together. Okay. Well, I do want to make another. I'm going to keep pushing on this thing, and we're going to get this. God, I sound like I'm doing a chore. I want to get back to work on the MGB, and I want to get some real progress done this weekend. I'll feel a lot better about it if I get some progress done. And that's the goal. It's Friday afternoon, so that's what I got to think about. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry you're getting sick.
What?
Nothing. I feel terrible.
It's okay.
All right. Folks, thank you for watching. Mm-hmm. We both sincerely appreciate it. I hope, by the way, you had a wonderful leap year February 29th, also known as Smarch. Lousy Smarch weather. It's the only date in the entire calendar which would qualify as Smarch. Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't know where I was going with that, but I think I'm going to go and turn this off, and then I'll go make a segment, and then we're done. Okay. Bye.
Bye.